good. So we're gonna do a quick video today, just on making basically high converting email designs. So nothing to do with copy or anything like that. This is just purely design. So what I used to design is Figma. You could use Figma is probably the best option. It's going to be the most versatile option, but you can also use Canva or even like a mix of both, because they both have their different benefits. But we're just going to cover Canva or Figma in this video. So yeah, I'm gonna go over start to finish, like pretty much everything you would need to know to get started making, good looking emails in Figma with not a whole ton of effort. If you've never done this before. So a few common issues that you might run into is just like inconsistent spacing, bad layout for mobile, so not mobile optimized, bad design hierarchy in general, not being compatible with dark mode settings, and then just in general not knowing where to get ideas from, like where to start from. When you're looking at a blank screen. So we'll kind of just run through all of the general sections of an email that you want to have. So you first have your hero section. So that is at the top. Starting from the top, you have usually your logo at the top, then your headline, and then an image. You can have a sub headline if you feel it's necessary, but that's with your copy, right? So that just goes underneath it. It doesn't matter. Um, and then I guess I have this is technically the hero image as well. You can have your intro copy, or your call to action, or both, depending just like what your email, again, what your copy is. So it depends. Um, and then you'd move on to your body section. So this is your main section, your main takeaway area. So with e-commerce, you want to try and make it as visual as possible. So usually use icons or just like mini chart sections or infographics, stuff like that. Um, and then have consistent spacing, obviously, and we'll go over that more in depth afterwards. And then you have at the bottom your final call to action, and your footer. So let's kind of go a bit more in depth. Um, let's take a look at some examples. So we're going to go down here. Okay. So let's just take a look at, these are just example emails that are here in my inspiration doc. So this is Brez, and they're a pretty famous supplement brand, so they know what they're doing. So you see they have their logo, they have their headline, which is nice and big, and then they have some like intro copy here that they place, and then their call to action. But the important thing is that the call to action is above the fold, which just means when you click onto the email, you can see the call to action without having to scroll at all. And so that's important because it reduces friction. And so when you have any kind of sales process, any kind of marketing, the less friction, the better. The easier it is for somebody, the better, the more likely they'll take action. So say you had your call to action way down here, and they're like, nah, I don't care enough to scroll down there, and then you lose them. So there's your hero section, and then going through your body section. So in this case, their body section is, what is this even about? I don't remember. Yeah, just these two products. Okay. Yeah, so here's your body section, basically where they're talking about like these two products, whatever. They have them very nicely displayed. And yeah, there's not too much to it. I usually include a sub headline like this, and then maybe some supporting body if it's warranted. It depends on the email. And then you want to have some kind of very visual section, or visual part of the body section, so it's easier for the reader to get the takeaway without having to read all of the copy. You know what I mean? So that's why you see their copy is like very short and concise. And then here, let's look at a better example, like this one here, or even this one. So this is a good infographic section where you have like your product in the center, and you have like a few points coming off of it with like the benefits and all that. So it just makes it easy to grab the gist. It's nice and visual. It's eye catching. Like if you were just to list this all out in one big block of text, less likely to be read. And then stuff like this as well, like either use icons or some kind of like visual image, or emojis is a good one. Let's see if I can find anything that's better. Anything with like actual icons. Yeah, like this, for example. That works really well. You'll see a lot of brands do, icons like this. Just makes, again, less friction, right? And then moving on to, and usually you'll have either, it depends. If it's like a product section like this, you can have the call to action under each one of these individually, or just have it right underneath the body section in total. And then depending on how long the email is, that will be the second call to action will be the last one, or you'll have a third one if you're going to expand it a little more. And the goal is, again, just reduce friction. So like if they scroll to they consume the body section, you don't want them to scroll all the way back to the top to have to hit the friggin' call to action. That would be stupid. So how do you come up with a design? So this is something I struggled with for a long time. Just getting ideas, basically. And I would always try and start from scratch, and like it just would never look great, and it would take so long, and it's kind of annoying. So what I have here, what we're in right now, is basically one of my master inspiration docs. So it's a little bit messy, but this is, if you have a brand, something you should do. So I have my general inspo, all of these emails here. I have my social proof emails here. So I kind of started to separate them a little bit depending on the type of email that they are. You can see that. And then I have actual templates. So I have templates for body sections. I have templates for hero sections, not yet for footers or call to actions, but actually they're in a different document. I guess I should just pull them over. And then I have full email templates here. So this is the easiest way. Don't try and come up with anything from scratch. Like, you know a few things when you start. Like your brand colors that you need. The typography that you need, your text style. But if you're just starting from scratch and you like don't know what you want it to look like, go to reallygoodemails.com, or even in Canva, if you use Canva, and you can just look up, inspiration emails. But if you go over to this website, it's going to show you like top emails from like 8, 9, 7-figure brands. They post on here every day, gets updated, and just look for brands that you like the style of, that are kind of similar to yours, or just sections that you like. Copy them, and then bring them back in to your master document. Or another thing you could do is just subscribe to brands that you see online on Instagram or whatever that you like, and then you'll see their emails in your inbox, right? And you just copy the ones that you like the design style of. So once you do that, say I'm starting an email from scratch, right? I'm going along and I guess we might as well we'll just choose this one. So say we choose this guy here. I like the whole design layout of this email. Based on the copy that I have, this flow would work well, and it would match my brand, right? And don't be too concerned about copying something exactly, because you're going to end up making small changes to it anyways, and it's going to become its own email. Or honestly, I could do like, hey, I like this hero section, but I want this body section, right? And then it's a completely new email, and I'll show you exactly how to do this. So what I do, I don't know if this is the best email to use, but say I want this. Let's do something more complicated, I guess. I guess it doesn't have to be that complicated. Let's do this one. This one has a bunch of different components to it. All right. So say you want to take the hero section of this email. All you do is you just recreate it step by step. So I'm going to take my rectangle tool. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. And all of your frames, you want to be about 600 pixels wide. That's the best width for mobile. which is what most people view their emails on. So I'm just going to do this. I'm going to drag this over, center it. I'm going to go here. I'm going to say, okay, this is the logo I'm going to have. And then I would go through and I would go like this and like this, right? Let's make this a different color. Drag it over, center it. And then I'm going to have, like, I'm going to say body text here. And you're just going to basically break it down. So I'll do a little bit here so you can see it in real time. So it's going to look like that. And then we want this section. It's a little infographic section. Just like that. Center that over there. Take this. Yeah, bring it front. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit bigger. So this is maybe going to be like 24 pixels instead. Like that. So you're going to have a sub headline in here. It's going to go there. And then maybe you want this, you want to take this check mark as well. Create a circle. Like that. If you're wondering, like, oh, where do I get icons from and stuff, Figma has what's called plugins. So if you you right click, go to plugins, go to manage plugins, and you can basically search all of these plugins and tools that help you create stuff. So if you're like, I want something that helps me make icons, I would just go into Google. I would say, Figma plugin for icons, right? And it's going to give you a couple names. And the one that I use is called Iconify. So I open that and I say, I search for what I want, right? I want to search for check mark. There you go. Just like that. You press import as frame and it brings it in for you just like that. You can click on it. You can change the colors. So it's like exactly the same, or however you want it to be, right? So that is your icons, right? So, and then I would go in, I would just make little squares for these sections and move it over, and you kind of get the idea, right? And as we go down, you just take each piece, and if there's anything you don't know, like, oh, I don't know how they did this, just honestly look it up on YouTube. I have videos myself on design and stuff like that, but if you're like, how did they make this lay over the line here, right? Like, you can just look that up and you just learn as you go, and that's going to be the best way. This one, for example, they probably just got rid of the background and then layered it over top of the line, and so it looks like a bit more 3D, right? Depends on what you're working with. Same with this, right? They just removed the background, laid it over top, makes it nice, makes it so it's not so flat looking. And you'll see that a lot, like even over here as well. Like her leg is over top of the wave section and the image. It looks really nice. Okay, so that's how you come up with ideas. So like, say I like the hero section or just the body section of this. Take the body section, use it for whatever you want to do. You're like talking about the brand's benefits, like these guys are, right? And then you basically just mix and match like that. And once you do this a bunch of times, you're going to have a crap ton of templates, basically, that you can use for your own brand. And so you'll get to a point where you don't even really need to create a new design. Like, you can basically just copy and paste all these templates that you made that are specific to your brand, and it makes it like super easy, super fast. And you don't have to put so much effort into it. Maybe you make small tweaks here and there depending on the email, but you're not starting from scratch, so it's really nice. Yeah. So, well, yeah, I touched on this a bit earlier. Going to mobile optimization, you always want your frames to be 600 pixels wide. And to create a frame, like I sort of mentioned earlier, you just press F on your keyboard and then you left click and it'll pop up with a little box. And then you can do the same thing for all of your shapes down here, like R for rectangle. It should pop up. Maybe it doesn't want to. There it is. Or you could just go in here on your little toolbar and there's a whole bunch of stuff. All right. So this is more of like an overview video, but all right. So next up, we have basically just exporting the design. So what you want to do when you export the design into your ESP, into whether you use Klaviyo or whatever it is, go down to your bar here. There'll be a thing called slice, or you can press S on your keyboard, and it's going to draw out this little line. All right, so I usually do cut mine into like 4 or 5 different chunks. So say I wanted to do this hero section of my email, like that. Taking out the hero section, go over to export, click 2x, export it. It's gonna download it for you, just like that. So you can pull it in here and you can see right there, there's your piece. So what I usually do is I go to this website. It's called iloveimg.com, and you basically just bring the file over to here, put it in, and then you compress it, and then it'll spit it back to you. And that just makes it a little bit smaller so that when people open your emails, it's not like this really heavy image, and it just loads faster. So you take that, and then when you go into your, say you're using Klaviyo, go into Klaviyo, just go into your email builder, you click add image, and then you just add in all your images. Make sure there's no padding or anything, so they all sit flushly together, and you're pretty much you're good to go, right? So that is a basic, like high-level overview of how I design emails in Figma. I'm probably going to make more in-depth videos on each like subtopic, but if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. And if you want someone to help you make these emails for yourself, hit me up. I'll leave my contact information in the description, or you can book a call.